Hannah Barnes. In a statement, NHS England told us it was developing a new training framework for clinicians providing care in children's gender services and wouldn't adopt old training materials previously used by GIDS. It added that all aspects of the new services would be guided by the ongoing CAS review. Right, let's have a look at some of tomorrow's front pages. Front page of the Daily Mail. Fears of chaos if doctors and nurses strike together. We had the RCN earlier telling us they would consider coordinated strike action with junior doctors. On the front page of The Guardian, nursing strikes could go on till Christmas. And also a photograph of a Spanish athlete called Beatriz Flamini, who spent 500 days in a cave underground as part of some kind of experiment. She was closely monitored by scientists. And front of the FT, Musk to launch an AI startup to rival ChatGPT. That's it for us from us tonight. Faisal's here on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. Good night.
Breaking news from around the world 24 hours a day. This is BBC News.
Teixeira-led reportedly had some 24 members, including foreigners, who talked about war games and shared racist jokes.
All right, let's bring you more on this story now. So Jack Teixeira is being charged under the Espionage Act. He faces 1 count of unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information, as well as 1 count of unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. If found guilty of those charges, Mr. Teixeira faces up to 15 years in prison. For more on this, I spoke earlier to Congressman Jim Himes. He serves as the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. We want to bring you some breaking news now. Montana lawmakers on Friday approved a first-of-its-kind bill to ban TikTok across the state. This could be setting the stage now for future court battles that would determine the fate in the U.S. of that popular Chinese-owned social media app. TikTok has responded. The bill's champions have admitted that they have no feasible plan for operationalizing this attempt to censor American voices and that the bill's constitutionality will be decided by the courts. We will continue to fight for TikTok users and creators in Montana whose livelihoods and First Amendment rights are threatened by this egregious government overreach. That statement there coming from TikTok. We'll bring you more, of course, as we get it. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.
Inside Mitchell's auction house in Cockermouth is an astonishing collection that's taken weeks to itemise and catalogue, ready for sale.
This is one of the largest private collections of model railway stuff I've ever seen. It's really sort of national importance because collections like this do not come up very often. For the north of England, this is almost unique. And this all came out of a small terraced house.
So extensive is it that many engines and accessories have never been out of their original boxes, making them more valuable. But there's more to it than that. This isn't just one man's astonishing collection. There is real attention to detail here, the way that he has physically aged some of these models to make it even more authentic on the track. Enthusiasts have travelled from across the country, hoping to add to their own collection. Anything here that you've seen that you will be interested in having yourself?
1 or 2 things, yes. Yes, definitely.
You're live with BBC News. There have been at least 149 mass shootings in the U.S. since the start of the year, and now experts are sounding the alarm over so-called ghost guns. As big-name Republicans like former President Donald Trump, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and former ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley make their appearances at the annual NRA convention this weekend, the gun debate rages on. At the heart of that debate is ghost guns, which are untraceable firearms that can be built with parts acquired online. Despite new federal rules regulating them and a dozen states banning them, anyone without a background check can still create a ghost gun. All right, for more on this now, I'm joined by the BBC's Neda Taufik. Neda, you've been looking at this issue closely. What more can you tell us? All right, in other news now, after a one-day delay because of bad weather, the European Space Agency successfully launched its mission to see if the moons of Jupiter can support alien life. The Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer took off from the European spaceport in French Guiana. It will take 8 years to reach its destination, where it will examine 3 of Jupiter's moons to see if their hidden oceans of water could contain living organisms. Germany is to take its 3 remaining nuclear power stations off-grid today, ending more than 60 years of nuclear energy production. The shutdown was postponed by several months as the German government sought to secure alternative energy supplies to Russian gas. It will take years, perhaps decades, to fully decommission the nuclear plants. Even as the highly specialized work begins, Germany's politicians are still arguing over whether they've made the right decision. The United States has charged Ovidio Guzman Lopez and other key members of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel with running a huge operation that supplies fentanyl to the U.S. Among those accused are sons of the cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who is imprisoned currently in the U.S. Also charged are owners of Chinese companies allegedly providing chemicals to the Sinaloa gang. Before we go, a reminder of some breaking news coming in at this hour. Montana lawmakers on Friday approved a first-of-its-kind bill to ban TikTok across the state, setting the stage for future court battles that could determine the fate in the U.S. of the popular Chinese-owned social media app. The proposed law was passed by 54 votes to and 43 against. It's the first by a U.S. state. Now, AFP reporting that under this proposed law, Apple and Google would have to remove TikTok from their app stores, and companies will face daily fines of $10,000 if found in violation. We'll bring you more on that story as it develops. I'm Carl Nasman. Thanks for watching.
Morning. Come and have a seat. Now, of course, I'm not going to go easy on you. There are some really big questions we've got to try and get answers to this morning. But I'll be fair, and we just want to hear what you've got to say. So, shall we get on with it?
And we're rolling.
Here we go. Join me to hear from the biggest names inside and outside politics.
Sunday with Laura Koonsberg. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Live from Washington, this is BBC News. Lawmakers in the U.S. state of Montana approve a statewide ban on the Chinese social media app TikTok. 21-year-old Jack Texera appears in court in Boston over a huge leak of secret government documents. And the U.S. Supreme Court temporarily prevents new limits coming into force on the abortion pill, mifepristone. Hello, I'm Carl Nasman. Thanks for joining us. We want to start with some breaking news. Lawmakers in the U.S. state of Montana have approved a first-of-its-kind bill to ban TikTok statewide, setting the stage for future court battles that could determine the fate in the U.S. of the popular social media app, which is owned by China. Now, joining me is the BBC's Helena Humphrey to help us break all of this down. Helena, we've seen some bans on government devices in the U.S. or in other countries, but this bill, which would ban TikTok use for everyday citizens, that sounds like it's unprecedented. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.
Ukrainian youngsters and their English friends just being children.
I'm so glad that I'm here and I'm safe here and it's so nice.
The Easter camp has been organised by the Change Foundation.
It's about seeing them just hang out with their friends and having conversations. Rewind a year, we was all on our phones using Google Translate. Now it's like we're actually getting more interaction. They're teaching us things. It's just amazing seeing how it develops and grows.
The two-day event is a world away from the fighting in Ukraine. The war, which broke out a year ago, is preparing for a spring surge following a winter of stalemate and stagnation. Back in Burgess Hill, parents are just thankful their children are safe.
It brings her to life again. She is not afraid of of loud noises from outside. And I think it will help her to be friends with more and more people.
You're live with BBC News. A new development concerning abortion medication in the U.S. now. The U.S. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito has temporarily extended access to the highly contested abortion drug mifepristone while the court considers the case. This comes after two courts, one in Washington state, the other one in Texas, issued conflicting rulings on access to the abortion pill last week, leading to the Supreme Court now weighing in. The White House has said they plan to fight to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade. The stay expires midnight on Wednesday. Our correspondent Jessica Parker has more. All right, the BBC's Neda Taufik, thank you very much for your reporting. And you can find more of Neda's reporting on guns in America on our website. I'm Carl Nasman. Stay with us here on BBC News.
Hello, this weekend will bring a change in the weather. We're not talking about a heat wave, we're not talking about wall-to-wall sunshine, but